In the book of James, it says, consider it pure joy when you go through trials and tribulations. My whole life, I've been told, Caroline, you are such a light. You are such a ray of sunshine. Wherever you go, you light up the room. And I have to tell people, like, I don't have joy because I haven't gone through anything. I have joy. My joy comes from the Lord. So I grew up in church. I went to Sunday school. I learned stories. I learned Bible stories. Like, I did it all. So I grew up in church. I knew who Jesus was. And I had a good, decent life as a kid. My parents got divorced when I was 3 years old. So I never really had a firm, like, steady view of marriage because of my parents being divorced, and I never knew anything else. So going back and forth between households, but that's the only really thing, like, struggle that I went through when I was younger. But when I got into 8th grade, I got sexually abused, and that was the first, like, really hit on my life, because I literally remember asking God, like, why did this happen to me? And I completely ignored God. And I tried to be everything like the world. I wanted to be the cookie cutter girl. I started not eating as much as I should because I thought the only way I would find my worth is through this world. I did not know my worth at all. And so I would not eat. I would base my worth on the amount of weight I weighed, or the number I saw on the scale is what I define my worth as. And so I was in a tough spot. I would wear makeup every single day. I would make sure I was talking to guys. I would sit with the popular girls at lunch. I would wear these certain types of clothes that were acceptable to this culture because that is the way I would find my worth. And that went on from probably 8th grade until sophomore year of high school. So these 3 years, because of what I went through a dark place of feeling worthless and feeling alone and that nobody would understand me. And so I remember I was at a fall retreat, and there was this house that we did worship on, and it was on the water. And you could just see out, and we were singing "You're Beautiful" by Phil Wickham. And I remember God literally telling me, he was like, Caroline, like, you see all that? Like, and the sun was like shining down on the water, and it was so beautiful. And he's like, Caroline, you see that? I even think you're more beautiful than that. And I have never looked at myself any different than what God sees me. He says, I am chosen. I am a child of God. I am a daughter of the King. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am beloved. And I am not going to walk in the path of the world because I know who God says I am. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am made in his image. I am a masterpiece because that's who my Creator said I am. And so I accepted Jesus into our heart. I said, God, you can have it all. You can have it all. I don't want it. And then I just felt this joy come in my life. And so from then, I was a junior and COVID hit. And so COVID was really hard on my life and a lot of people's lives around me. And that was hard. And I thought I was going to have this perfect senior year because it happened at the end of my junior year. And then I thought I was going to have this perfect senior year, and it was terrible. And this past March, not this March, but the March before, in 2021, my dad passed away. And my dad was my best friend. And through that, I learned that God is still in control and God is still a good God. And I came out with that with even more joy, even more peace, because I know I will see my dad again. I know I'm going to walk those streets of gold with my dad hand in hand and be in the presence of our Savior. So why should I be scared? Why should I not have joy? I have joy because my joy comes from the Lord. I have been able to speak to girls. I have been able to speak to my church. I have been able to lead FCA, and God is just using me in so many ways, and I give him all the glory. And I have joy because my joy comes from